5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live. Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we give you a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my giggling gaggle of gals.
Giggling gaggle of gals. Giggling.
We have old Saint Nick himself.
Michael Mattis, what's up?
And dashing elf #1.
I'm Jingle Jangling. Hi, I'm Araceli.
And #2.
Hey everyone, it's Justin.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is checking it twice to find out if you are naughty or nice. Aha, you guys like that, didn't you? Also, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're here on it right now, so click that subscribe button. Also, click the thumbs up button. We say it every week, so make sure you do it every week. Also, feel free to leave comments down at the bottom. I do scroll through the comments. I may not comment back, but I do scroll through. So make sure you comment down below. We are checking the chat room to look for your thoughts, and we might read them out loud, so leave some good ones. Before we kick things off, we want to send a very special happy 80th birthday to our previous co-host, the one, the only, the fabulous, the fierce, Mark J. Freeman, Lorraine Love. We hope that you are celebrating your wonderful 80th birthday in style, and make sure you stay safe and wear your mask, because people in your age group are
the sensitive age group.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday, Mark J. Freeman.
Happy birthday, Mark Freeman.
Happy birthday.
Lorraine Love.
Lorraine Love. She doesn't look a day over 79.
She will after that cake.
Oh, I know, right? The cake she made looked really good. And Michael Mattis, you have someone special watching.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to my friend Shelly Porter, who is watching the show from her comfortable hotel room in Redondo Beach right now. Shelly and I actually met at Day of Days in 2009, and I actually met her 3 days before I met my husband. So I met Mark and Shelly like all in the same week. Kind of crazy. But the way I met Shelly was my friend Crystal and I were at Day of Days, and Shelly was there with her sister. Crystal and I managed to cut in the line for Joe Mascolo, aka Stefano, because the line guard wasn't looking, and we just swooped in. And so we ended up behind Shelly and her sister, Brandy. Hey, Brandy. I don't think Brandy's watching. Hey, Brandy. And then a few minutes later, this other woman kept walking up the line and like talking to people, and she was trying to inch her way up. So Shelly looked at me and said, "We're not going to let that happen, are we?" And I was like, "Oh, no, no." And so after I had cut in line, I was preventing someone else and acting all outraged that someone else was...
had the audacity.
Yes, and then I went to the sugar store. Brandy and I went to the sugar store to get mints or something, and I got Shelly mints that said, "Here, because your breath smells like butt. Breath smells like butt." She was like, "Did you really just meet me and tell me my breath smells like butt?" I was like, "Yeah."
That sounds about right.
And it was history.
It's love at first sight.
And a friendship blossomed.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, hello, Shelly. Thank you for watching. Mwah.
Yay. Hello, Shelly.
Hey,
Thank you so much for tuning in. And we hope that you will now be a long-standing fan of Dishin Days, where we give you all the tea and nothing but the tea. Speaking of tea, Dylan Matthews said that I look like I'm in the secret hiding spot of Horton Town Square collecting the tea. Oh, hey, you know what? This is how, now that I have the tree here, this is how Terrence will make his entrance. You know how they always have people like in the bushes?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Shelly's in the chat room.
She
Terrence
is.
Vitale in the bushes spying on Ava.
Dylan Matthews said, "Tony, at some point, can you hide behind the Christmas tree like you're trying to spy on people?" That just screams he's about to turn it into a GIF. All right, so let's get things going, y'all. What did you guys think of this week's? Well, just to let you guys know, this is the last Dishin Days of 2020. We are going to take a much needed break to celebrate the holidays, to reset, recharge. So today is the last Dishin Days that you will see until 2021. We'll be back January 10th. Mark your calendars. We'll be back January 10th, 2021 to give you a full dish of that week's episodes of Days of Our Lives and maybe a sprinkle of what we haven't been able to talk about. So anyway, this week, what did you guys think about this week's episodes?
It's a pretty good week. I did find myself distracted a little bit, but I was able to keep up, and we had some good scenes.
Yeah, Araceli?
The villainesses were on fire this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised I was able to, narrow it down to a few moments. They had some really great moments this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some really fun scenes. I liked, we got a lot of Ava, which is good. A lot of like exposition and moving that storyline along a bit, which was nice. I thought they were going to drag it out a little bit longer, but I was glad that it's sort of on and running, basically.
Yeah,
I love how even after so many people have like come back from the dead, they're still shocked when it happens. And it's like they should literally be like, "Oh, so and so's alive, Dr. Rolf." Okay, and that should be it.
But I appreciated that Steve wasn't. I appreciated that Steve actually wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
He didn't seem surprised.
Who has a landline?
I know.
Me, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I was like, whose 1995 phone ring is that?
Hey, landlines, if you actually do the research, landlines, if we have the big giant 7.0 earthquake tomorrow, landlines will be the only thing that works.
That's true.
And I have made a list of all the people in my vicinity that have one that I can walk over to and
We're all coming to your house.
Araceli, text us all your address.
I know.
We know where to go.
I totally thought this week was pretty good. There were definitely some like on your toes moments. There were definitely some moments where I was like, ooh, better pay attention to this. But overall, like I thought it was good. So so let's talk about it. Before we talk about it, I know you guys are wondering about the tree, but later on in our show, we will do our own version of the Horton Christmas tree ornament hanging, and we'll hang our ornaments. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the show so that you can see our tree hanging ceremony, our ornament hanging ceremony. All right.
Ball hanging ceremony.
I feel like you were just waiting to say that. All right, y'all. It's time to start Dishin Days. Set it and forget it. All right, so let's go with the first storyline. We have Ava, Kayla, Steve, Tripp, and Joey, along with D.A. Trask and Justin. First of all, can we address the fact that Ava made herself a little too comfortable in Kayla's house? Like, I don't even understand how Kayla was able to keep her, like, she was able to keep her composure at like the fact that when Ava came around the corner, she was just in a shirt. Yeah. Did anyone else realize that?
Steve's shirt. Yeah, she was in Steve's shirt. Like they had,
Steve's shirt.
And doing something.
I was just like, now hold up. I know you just came back from the dead, but honey, you can go back. Like, you're not about to come up in this house and be disrespectful.
And
she was waiting in the hallway until Kayla walked in to make that entrance. Yeah.
I've said before that I kind of missed the first iteration of Ava on the show, but is that just her? Like, is that like true to character that she would do something like that?
She's very like ballsy, like it's a very different energy for like a villainess. She's not like mopey and gloomy. She's very like take charge and like
she's the queen of no shame.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Maddox, just imagine like any character who was obsessed with one of the leading men. Mm-hmm. That's Ava when it comes to Patch.
Got it.
Yeah.
But the love is obviously not
it's interesting that she calls him Patch and not Steve.
Yeah.
That's how they met, though. That's, if you go back and you watch those scenes, it was 2008. They do some flashback scenes in which you get a little bit of history of how Steve came to kind of be adopted into her family, and that, that was what they called him.
Got it.
Yeah. So, so that's number one, the audacity of that, and then just how everything kind of unraveled. And listen, I don't blame Ava for being like, yes, I'm back. I wouldn't call the cops if I were you, because we have some things to talk about. I can either keep Joey in jail and bring up new charges, or you can drop the charges that they're going to press me with. Because first of all, Rafe, who came in as like that day, just got the job back as police commissioner.
He hit the ground running, wasting no time.
Came in and like automatically arrested Ava. And Ava was like, Kayla?
You have something to say? Yeah.
You're lying, honey. So I felt like that was a great way to kind of cover some things as far as like, but wait, what about attempted murder? What about this? What about that? So it kind of dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's.
I found it interesting how when Rafe went to arrest her, and she was like, "Do you have something to say, Kayla?" We didn't really get. The next time we saw them, they were she'd already been arrested, put in at the police station with Trip, and I was like, we missed that whole moment.
It was
I felt like
jarring.
a miss. Like we should have seen that moment happen and seen how because clearly if Kayla got arrested, Kayla didn't immediately.
Kayla obviously didn't say anything then. Yeah.
That almost seemed like a weird editing.
Yeah, I was like, wait, did I miss a scene? I went back. Yeah.
Oh, I must have drummed it up in my head because I totally thought that when she was standing at the tables. But now that I think about it, they did that blank stare that they do. And then next thing you know, like everything was like tied up in a bow. And they were at the police station, but Caleb went to make sure that she brought in Justin, Patch went to go like deal with that stuff. So it was like all this, and then the meeting of the minds came. And then in true form, Trask was like, okay, somebody's got to pay for something because y'all just can't keep coming in here and like getting everybody off. Like somebody's got to pay for something.
Yeah.
Well, I was just to say, if I were DA Trask, I'd be like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I here? Like y'all always make these like side things. And so like so no one's gonna pay for like if you want to commit murder, fine. Like just
everyone always finds a way to get out of it or get immunity or yes, you're right, make a deal with somebody. And then she finds out and she's like, what the hell?
I did appreciate though that they tried to take a bit of a realistic approach with it, where it wasn't just like everything's washed. It was basically like, I could keep Joey tied up in red tape, and yes, technically he didn't kill me, but even if he did get released on time serve, I could basically hold that up and like do appeals and all that kind of stuff. So that was at least realistic. I was like, okay, I like that they're going, that it's not just a done deal. And I like that they took a little bit more of a realistic approach with it. Because I was wondering, how is she, like, I was like, okay, well, Joey, obviously she's not dead. Joey's been in jail for 4 years. That would kind of be considered time served. So how are they going to get her out of her, kind of her issues or her warrants? And I like that they really didn't go with the Allie thing, because I thought that was kind of weak. I was like, that's not enough to like totally like erase her record, like,
Well, I think she didn't lead with that one because it wouldn't have appealed to Kayla as much as getting Joey out of prison. And the other thing is that Allie could easily argue insanity or,
that's what I thought. I was like, it's kind of, it's not a strong
mental incapacity. She was pushed to do it by the failure in the justice system, and any jury would be sympathetic to her. So if they got that far, this is a safer approach for Ava, which makes me think that she always had this in her back pocket. She came out with that.
Maybe,
she knew what she was doing. I think Ava is actually one of the ones that when she has a plan, and she's 5 steps ahead of everyone else.
But if something goes wrong, she just says, oops. Like I always come back to Sean Sr.'s death. Like she meant for that plane to be grounded. If you go back and watch the scenes, she actually never meant for that plane to crash. That was not supposed to happen. She meant for the plane to have mechanical failures to be grounded. And when all that was said and done and Sean Sr. died, her response was, oops. Basically, that was her response.
Oopsie doodle.
I mean, I feel like that oops was kind of like, oops, he's dead. Like, what do we?
Yeah, but
So
then I go back to like, you know, she can't. I go back to rationalizing Ava, which I know I'm not supposed to do because she's a villain, but she does. She had no concept for a loving father in her life. So how could she possibly understand Kayla's being so distraught over Sean Sr.? Because her father was a piece of, yeah.
Thoughts? First of all, welcome back, James Lastovic. Playing Joey. Thoughts on first thoughts when Joey came out. What did you guys think?
Love the dark hair.
Hugs.
Yeah, the dark hair looked good on him. It looked like of course he's older, but yeah, it just
more of a man now. He lost a little boyish. Yeah. And maybe it was like the scruff, the facial hair. But yeah, he looked a little like hardened maybe. Even though he's still very soft spoken. Like he didn't come out talking like this or anything, but like you can tell that he's seen some shit in prison. Probably.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's some growth to Joey. And I feel like right off the bat when he came out, I was like, this is James Lastovic's time to really like show the growth of Joey, that like over these 4 years, he has kind of transitioned from like the young Joey that we were introduced to maybe this more like mature, I've learned, I've grown sort of Joey. And I hope that they give him stuff to really play with and really like show the character's growth, but also the growth of James Lastovic as an actor.
Did you see him in what show was it? Was it Insatiable?
Oh no.
He was in Insatiable. He was good in that. I mean, he didn't have like a giant role, but he was really good in that show. Yeah. But there's a lot of no love for Joey in the chat room right now.
Oh really?
They're like, no love for Joey. How long's he on for? Joey hasn't changed anything. It's like
you thought all that from that one day.
All right, I'm gonna argue this point right here. Okay, I get it because I understand because you in any character, especially if they're on for a couple of years, you want to see that amount of growth, and that didn't really kick in with Joey until Ava showed up the last time. So I get where people are coming from. They want some kind of a real good evolutionary arc, the way JJ did when he went through all that stuff finding out about Jack's past. I get it. I totally get it. So, but as we just said, as Michael's just said, he's got a more mature, hardened look. So let's give him a chance. I really think, being thrown back into this family unit, especially with everything that's going on with Trip, he's going to have things to say. He's going to have an opinion. And I really think we're going to love him.
He's only had one episode in one setting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see. I'm willing to see like how it goes and how they kind of bring him into the fold and everything, and see first of all what his role in the storyline is going to be, and see if it lands or does not land.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I feel like this, and I don't know if you guys felt this, but I feel like Steve, Kayla, and Trip were starting to get a little played out with the whole back and forth between Steve and Kayla about who's right about Trip and Steve standing behind his son 100%, Kayla not feeling comfortable, Trip trying to prove his innocence. But then when you dropped in Ava and then you dropped in Joey, now all of a sudden I felt the dynamic shift. Now all of a sudden I felt like one, there's like now these two brothers again, so there could be interesting stuff with that. Then the introduction of the mother that Trip has not known of and how they all feel about her. But also notice this, that when right before they got Joey out of jail, and Trip was like, all right, I'm heading home. Yeah. And they were like, hold up. We were actually going to talk about that. But then notice how Kayla changed when he was just like, well, fine, I'll just go home with my mother. And she was like, wait. So let's just, and I was like, see, y'all tried to kick him out. And now that Ava's here, now you're worried about him.
That was Araceli's concern about making.
That was
you did say that.
I was my biggest fear,
she's gonna poison him. And use him for her, her own agenda.
Yeah, because Trip's smart. He knows his mom's crazy, but but if you isolate someone to the point where they feel like they have no one else, what's he gonna do?
And there is like the whole a guy and his mom. There's just you got to stand by your mom.
Well, the mom that he never knew, mind you.
Right.
But
I feel like that's just going to add to his obligation to her. You know what I mean? Like he's going to want to please her.
But do you think so? Because he was very adamant about being like a good guy, a good version. He doesn't want to be mixed in with the mob. He even told Ava like, oh yeah, all that money you gave me, I donated it because I didn't want any of that money tied in.
I mean,
then he was like, well, where did all this money come from? And then she said, which I didn't realize you could have this. She said, oh, this money came from the good money. Like this is the bad money. Yeah, this is the good money.
It's the good money that you use to shadow the bad money.
The bad money.
Right.
Okay, so here's how I think it might go. Ava, with all of her abilities, is going to find a way to clear Trip of, and then he's going to feel indebted to her. And now he's talking all big right now about wanting to go on the straight and narrow and not be involved in the mob or anything else. But if something happens for him to feel indebted to her, that's where he's going to kind of stray from that, that altruistic view he has right now.
I also think Steve now is going to be pulled in a different direction now because now it's going to be sort of Joey and Kayla on one side and he has Trip on the other side. And I think Trip is going to feel that a little bit. And I think Steve sort of, I won't say devotion, but his sort of time and attention, some of that is going to go to Joey and Kayla as a unit. And I think
so he'll start to feel
the reaction, he's going to dig in deeper with Ava. But I will say, I'm glad you brought that up, Tony, about Kayla. I actually really appreciated that even though she thinks he did rape Allie, there was also concern there for him about I don't want you living with me. I don't want you with that woman. And yes, she's your mother, but you're not like her. Even though I think you're a rapist, which is horrible, you're also not like her or I don't want you to be influenced by her. So I thought that was a really interesting sort of moment there.
This is my biggest frustration with Kayla right now, that she is splitting. It's like she can't decide what Trip is in her mind. And it's almost like she's ignoring the entire year after Steve last left the canvas, where it was just her and Trip. She became a mom to him. It's like she forgot that.
But the fact that the fact that it's a rape, I think, is why Kayla is struggling to let go of it and not just see Trip as that son figure or her as a mother figure. I think it's such a strong, it's just a really, really tough thing for her to get past.
But you have to also realize
you kind of see that struggle with her.
It triggers her as well because she was a victim.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's why she's having trouble, that's why she's having trouble just seeing Trip as the good kid. Plus there's the fact that he did hold a scalpel to her throat.
I think other people...
She said she got over that, but then the introduction of this just kind of brings it all back.
I think she actually did get over that one. I think because everybody else brings it up. She doesn't really bring that up. For her, it's about the rape. Everyone else on the planet brings it up. But this is actually why I'm actually really happy. And viewers, I think we should be happy to see Joey back because, as I said before, not only does he feel he has a very unique perspective on not only Ava, as being both the guy that killed her and but is still very remorseful, even though now he's found out that she's alive. He's still very remorseful for what he did. So he's a very unique perspective on Ava, and he has a very unique perspective on assault, both as the son of a rape victim and as someone who had a front row seat to Sierra's assault.
That's right. Yeah, he was involved with that.
He was involved with that. He knows what he has seen, that up close, that trauma. And he lived, there was a time also when it was him and Tripp and Theo and Sierra. Remember, they were all sharing that apartment?
They all lived on
The
the apartment.
scene, or
The loft.
So Tripp is not some stranger half brother. They lived together for a time.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone else notice this? How Ava was kind of surprised that Tripp was in London?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because she was kind of like, "You're in London?" Oh yeah. And it was kind of like, and why are you concerned about that?
Yeah,
and then she made that phone call. And I don't know who it is, but she had to leave a message, which first of all, I think she was also mad she had to leave a message. Yeah. But she was also like, when you get this, you better call me. You better call me now. And I was like, I don't know who on the other line of that, but like, I'm a little scared. Like, I feel like now that Ava's back in Salem, everyone's a little shooketh. They're a little shooketh. Yeah.
And if you're not, you should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, apparently she not someone to be messed with.
And there's also some. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead.
There's also something about like a villain who comes in and is not tied to really any of the families to have like ground them. It's sort of like if you bring Kristen back, okay, she's a Demira, and then you have other siblings or family members that can sort of like reach her or talk to her or try and appeal to her good or bad side, whatever. But I think it's the idea of like a villain coming in who like Ava doesn't need anybody in town. It's like she wants, now of course Tripp is there, so she wants a relationship with Tripp. She always wants Steve, but other than that, she's not there to like impress anyone. She's not there to like, put on a facade for anyone. So I think it comes off scarier in a way. It's like she doesn't have any ties to Salem. She's not bound to anyone really. I think the weakness has always been what Ava has been with her dad and that side of the family, sort of pulling her and manipulating her. So I think it'll be interesting to see a villain like that on the show who really only has a child. We'll see how it.
But she has so much influence on everybody.
Yeah.
So much like she in a way controls everybody.
And they don't have that power over her. Like no, as far as we know, even Tripp was. We'll see how that works out. But it's not an even relationship with anyone.
I think over. Oh, go ahead,
Tony.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, did anyone else really love the conversation with Nicole and Tripp about how it was almost like she was explaining his mother to him?
Yeah.
That I found that really influential. Also, did anyone else know that Nicole was reading Truman Capote?
I know, when they found that out, I was like, okay, writers, you're gonna use Truman Capote, but okay. It's still applicable.
I think that was an Instagram moment for me when I was like, oh.
Yeah.
See what everyone's up to.
I was like, okay, in code blood, all right.
I mean, I don't want to say like Nicole doesn't read. Like, I know she's a smart cookie, but
she's like a Cosmo. Like, she reads Cosmo. Come on.
Yeah, it was a very like
she does the quizzes.
Yeah.
And if she does read Truman Capote, she doesn't memorize half of it.
Again, this is like the new Nicole we're getting, who's more, who's more charitable and
Studious
a little
Nicole.
bit on the good side. Yeah.
Maybe Eric gave her that book for Christmas.
Maybe that's how she's supplementing not getting not getting any from Eric. So she's got to she left it out.
That's not the book you read.
No, maybe it's wrong
genre.
Okay. Did you guys ever watch Seinfeld? Do you remember when George and Elaine both started abstaining and Elaine became dumb and George became smart?
Yeah.
Maybe she's like George. Maybe she's like George. She's becoming smarter because she's, abstaining from.
It's still not the book you read when you get in. You're not getting any. That's not even the audio book you don't read.
Well, listen, I think that this storyline has gotten very interesting now with all the main players. We've got Ava now, we've got Joey, we've got Tripp, we've got Steve, we got Kayla. So I think like this whole thing is just took a very interesting turn. Yeah, and I also it's some people earlier were you know, kind of hating on the character of Joey. It's like, number one, this is episode 1 of his return.
Yeah,
Number 2, we have no idea what's going to happen. But, you know, Joey has always been a very soft person. So that characteristic and foundation probably will not change, but his growth and how he reacts to things will probably be more adult-like than kitty-like. At least we hope. So just like give it a chance. Give it a second. All right. Now that we beat that with a stick, let's move on to Jack, Jennifer, Kate, Jake, Gwen, Abigail, Chad, and Julie.
This storyline needs a booster shot.
I just think that I need to know. I just need to know what it is that Gwen, like what is Gwen's plan? Because
okay, so we're at the point where we as the viewers need to know Gwen's motives.
We need a little something, yeah.
But we at least need to know. We at least need to know why she's doing what she's doing.
But not the full why. I think right now we just need another nugget. We need another something because you know, she did the thing about like, you know, exposing the affair, the one night affair that that Kate and Jack had, which she thought would completely destroy the family. But then when it didn't destroy the relationship that Abigail and Jack have, and it's seemingly kind of like the family is kind of slowly coming back together.
Yeah.
She was thoroughly upset to see that Jack had forgiven Abigail. But then the second that she saw Jennifer, she pivoted so quickly and threw just a little to Jennifer to still make her think like Jack and Kate are still in the DeMare mansion. They're still kind of talking to each other. They're still interacting with each other. And then when she took that wiffle bat and like started going to town, I was like, Gwen just has everyone just wrapped around her little finger for this ultimate plan.
I had to crack up when Jennifer took that bat. I died. I laughed out loud because it was just silly. It was kind of silly.
It was so funny, yeah.
But it was over
silly,
the top,
yeah.
but it was just like, okay, that's Jennifer's rage, but it's hysterical.
Well, keep in mind, it's hangover Jennifer.
Yeah. True.
Hangover Jennifer.
Been there.
I was also kind of surprised.
Shelly and I both been there because of with each other. Yeah.
I was also kind of surprised that I don't know what I can't remember what Jen was taking. I'm sure it was for the hangover or whatever. But when she was taking pills, I thought to myself,
she's not supposed to be taking pills.
Yeah, she's an addict.
It's like, you know, like you can't
really
even
drinking,
take aspirin.
Actually. Yeah.
I mean, that's a question. Excuse me. Question was raised on Twitter about how, you know, there was that whole storyline of her being a pill addict.
Yeah.
And so, like, should she be drinking? Should she be taking pills? Even if she's taking like 200 milligrams of Advil, like maybe that's what she was taking, and maybe that's safe. Maybe it's more like on the prescription controlled substance side she's not supposed to be taking. Yeah. But it does seem a little odd.
I think her thing was because it was pain medication, so you're not supposed to take narcotics. So if in other words, if she was in the hospital, she would have the right to refuse heavy duty meds. Depending on how easily she would get hooked again. But yeah, they really don't recommend, I don't know if it's a hard and fast rule, but they really don't recommend you take any kind of nothing stronger than ibuprofen, basically. Yeah.
It would have been nice if there was a little bit of like, oh, let me just take a couple, because knowing my history or something, like a little line in there, I thought would have sufficed. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone in here was mentioning again about not liking Jake and Kate. And listen, and I know I've said that I wanted them to remain friends, but there's just something about them.
I'm loving that.
You know, and we've said it last week. I just think they're kindred spirits. I think that they're one of a kind. I think Kate is a very independent person. Jake is a very independent person. They're very like people who are more so leaders and followers and who have more of a sense of self. And I think that's why they work together.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the fact that like, I was like, okay, Jake, let's not make no young mistakes, because Kate is a mature woman who, if she says she wants to keep her stuff under wraps, you're keeping her stuff under wraps.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be going out telling everybody her business, okay? But he did raise an interesting question as far as why it's so important for her to keep this from Chad.
We already knew that.
Yeah, I have a couple of things here. I get her side when she talks about, she has a sort of a mother-son relationship with Chad, and it hasn't always been the best the last couple of years. She's kind of.
I think that's out of, she feels maybe a little bit of guilt for what she did in the past when, like, she went against Chad for her own needs, and she just doesn't want it to get messy, and because of how, and it's not how. I keep wanting to say Billy. It's not his name. Chad. How Chad feels about Jake, but not because of who Jake is, but because of who he looks like.
And that's what I was.
Yeah, and go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's what I was going to say. The flip side of that is that, she's doing all this for Chad, but like the whole Chad Jake thing is 100% on Chad. I was thinking that if he literally went to Jake and was like, "Listen, I know you're not Stefan. I've been sort of like holding these things against you. Listen, let's be brothers. Let's work together. Let's shake on it." Jake would jump up and down, would shake his hand, and there would be drama.
And Chad kind of started to acknowledge why he feels the way he does about Jake, or why he just straight up accused Abigail of, like, "Are you sleeping with Jake?" I was like, damn, okay.
Well, that's Gwen's fault. That's because Gwen long ago put that nugget. And so when he was talking to Jake and he said someone was over there, and then he quickly threw out Gwen, that made him go, wait a minute. And then it made him remember that he saw the scarf at Abigail Lane. And if I was Abigail, I'd be upset too. Because I'm like, what do you mean am I with Jake? Like, what are you talking about? Are you with Gwen? Are you with Gwen?
That was a more valid question.
Together?
Yeah, right.
What are you and Gwen doing?
That had more validity. Her turning that around on him had more validity than him. Oh man, I tell you, I don't mind Gwen going to town with that bat, because I feel like everybody else was so restrained this week. I wanted to jump through the screen and slap the hell out of Chad for that comment. If I were his wife, I would have.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, like, I beg all of your pardons.
I'm just wondering, and again, maybe it'll be all made clear when, which we've already talked about, when we know Gwen's motive for everything, but it's like this, the conflict between Chad and Abigail, what's the point? Where are we going with this? Like, are we going for break them up, or? It's
got to be something huge.
Yeah.
It's got to be something huge.
It has to. Well, and it's got to be like, if they let us down.
Huge.
If they like, Abigail stole $50 from me 10 years ago. Something stupid.
Huge.
Like that. Like, it needs to be big. We've waited long enough. It needs to be big.
Well, listen, and she's doing the most with all this too. Like, it's like, this better be something worth it. It better. I need to feel like, like, hit me with your best shot. Like, boom, boom, boom. Wasn't expecting any of that.
Right.
It's funny. Her machinations are all built on like
her what?
Machinations.
Her devious deeds.
Her scheming, her schemes.
Why didn't you just say scheming? Why did you have to say machinations? Like, I thought you said macaroni in a pot.
They're all built on like no one talking to each other. I was like, if any 4 or 5 of you just actually had a conversation, and I'm a little surprised. Like, I know we got those scenes before where Chad was kind of suspicious of her, and we all sort of maybe had it in the back of our minds, like maybe he's onto her. But I'm kind of disappointed in Jen and Jack, the investigative reporters, how like easily they're being duped by Gwen.
Yeah.
She's not really running a long con because everything that she's doing is predicated on either stuff she's heard or she's using like sleight of hand kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like she's not. There's no like master plan. It seems so far.
Right.
I half disagree. I half disagree. I do think that her master plan is kind of fluid, but
huge.
I don't think it's not because she hasn't done her research, because the reason she's been able to get away with so much is because she has zeroed in, she's asked the right questions, she has zeroed in on every single person's biggest insecurity. And that is how she's been able to get away with everything. She went back into the vault. I don't even know if she realized how far back Jen's insecurities went with Jack and the subject of infidelity. I don't think we realized that. I don't know
but no,
or what,
no,
but it was like that was Jen's, like, it was like a zeroed in on Jen's insecurity. And
you giving Gwen a little too much credit, because remember, she stumbled upon that tea. She didn't discover that tea. She stumbled upon it. So if she didn't stumble upon the Jack Kate infidelity, then she wouldn't have been able to use it like as her arsenal to be like, well, they still around each other. You know what I mean? So like, that's giving her. Now she is plotting and scheming or being very macadacious, but or microabrasions, whatever you said, but
Machiavellian.
Yes, come on, Tupac. That too. So it's kind of like, I think she's just very smart and very quick on her feet, and I think she studies people, and I think she knows maybe not their history, but she can just. She's SpongeBob SquarePants. She's sitting there and she is soaking up all the information and using it when she needs to. But I think that it's for something that like is going to hit us like a ton of bricks. And I hope that I mark this day, December 13th, 2020, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that I said that when we finally find out like what Gwen has been up to and the reason why she's been doing all this is going to hit us like a ton of bricks, and it is going to be huge.
Anybody in the chat room want to take bets on that?
Y'all give us your thoughts in the chat room.
One nugget of information that I completely forgot.
What?
I completely forgot about Abigail and EJ.
Yeah.
Completely
brought that up.
And I think one factor that I forgot, one reason I forgot is because it was Kate Manzi and not Marcy Miller. But I completely forgot about that. And that was like a huge thing when it happened.
Yeah, when Chad said like it's happened before, I thought he was referring to Stefan, and then when she mentioned EJ, I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
I was like, EJ. Oh, that's right. Those shower
scene, but also the wedding. The wedding, how Sammy was like, oh my gosh, Abigail, I'm just so happy that you're here today. And then she dropped the bomb.
That was one moment where I was team Sammy.
Oh, me too.
Sammy,
oh, yeah.
And the way that she found out and the way that she revealed that she knew and everything, I was just like, oh.
Allison Sweeney killed that performance. She just killed it.
Lawler CL says, Duel is taking forever with whatever is huge, Dishin Days. Let's see. Colleen says, I wonder if Abby met Gwen when she had multiple personalities and one of her personalities pissed Gwen off.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
But we saw, but like, did we
though?
Yeah. We saw most of those personalities. Like,
we saw the personalities, but we didn't. Come to think of it, we actually didn't see, for at least maybe like a month or two, the full other personality emerge. It was more like Abigail finding herself in weird situations.
But what on earth would have made her so mad at one of these personalities that she came up with this entire plan? It better be huge.
The machinations better be worth it.
Okay. So anyway, that is that storyline. We're like going into depth
Yeah,
these,
that's what
storylines.
Shelly texted me, and she's like,
The
"Wow,
last
you guys
show.
really go into it, don't you?"
Yeah.
Like, yep, it's gonna be a long one.
Well, Michael Mattis, now you know how I feel when my mom texts me in the middle of the show, because then all of a sudden you're just like, who is texting me?
So one of Shelly's favorite characters was EJ, and she loved James Scott. Like, and I remember when she met James Scott at Day of Days, it was like she hugged her and everything. So she's texting me. She's like, "Are you talking about EJ?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're talking about EJ. EJ, English Muffin EJ."
Like, what other EJ would there be?
Well, I don't think she knew that they brought the character back. You know,
Oh, that he was
Yeah.
alive.
in their warehouse.
Okay.
That he's actually alive, and we just never saw his face. He's never on camera. He's just living with Sammy somewhere across the world. And
Recuperating,
you know, we know that James Scott will never be coming back, unfortunately.
Yeah, we definitely know that.
Yeah.
Michelle in the chat room was like, Gwen met Claire in Bayview. Yes, which they kind of abandoned that whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they get back to that friendship, because I feel like that friendship really grounds not Claire, but it grounds Gwen a little bit. So I'm glad. I kind of want they should get back to that a little bit. We need a little bit of a different side of Gwen, I think.
What were you going to say, Michael Mattis?
No, I completely forgot that Gwen. I have a short-term memory, I guess, with this show now. I completely forgot that the reason Gwen was brought in was she was Claire's roommate at Bayview, and yeah, they've never crossed paths again.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay, so there's that. Moving on to Xander, Sarah, Charlie, Philip, and Chloe.
Oh Lord.
I don't even know where to start with this.
I will start with an apology half apology, mind you, to
you can't do a half an apology. You got to do either no apology or full apology.
I have valid points to all the Flowy fans. When I saw them back together, okay, I got it. They do still have chemistry.
Oh, absolutely.
I get it.
Absolutely.
They do still have chemistry.
They just it's so interesting how it's years later and how they sit down and talk to each other, and it's just like 1999 again.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And she's Ghoul Girl all over again.
Yeah. If only Philip would stop shooting himself in the foot.
I was gonna say the dick, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, because then he came out with that thing of like Mimi. They brought Mimi into like, wait, did I miss something?
It's funny.
Where's that
nice how
from?
they explained the gambling though, because remember Mimi was involved in gambling, so I thought that was a nice tie-in. I was like, oh, okay,
and it was a good tie-in,
yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, wait a second, did I miss something? Was that on the app? Where did that come from?
Was that an app episode?
The gambling we found out when Rex came back to town, because that's how he got hooked up with Mimi, was the gambling too. So they brought it up on the show.
Yeah. But like, and then Chloe said that you got back with Mimi. Philip, again, did I miss something? When was Philip ever with Mimi? Their grown child was a petri dish child.
Yeah, they were never together.
I think they were together maybe for a brief moment back in the day.
Were they?
You would know, Justin, because you've been the consistent. I feel like you've been the consistent viewer. There have been years I've been in and out, but I feel like.
I mean, I don't remember. It could be if it was like a little fling there. Maybe they went out a couple times. But yeah, like Araceli said, they have a child together, of course, but their child was, it was a test tube baby. It wasn't me because they were together or had sex.
Mm-hmm.
So random.
I mean, I feel like if there's a question about it and it's not on like Wikipedia or something, that it probably just happened off camera, and that's just a bit of information that we just have to accept.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think Philip and Chloe were great. I thought the conversation was great. I loved the walk down memory lane. I suddenly wanted her to, I don't know, reenact the Ghoul Girl moment. It's just that her in that red dress and those glasses and the reveal, like literally little tiny Tot for Christ me was like living for that moment. I was like, in your face. She is beautiful. And guess what? None of y'all can have her because y'all was calling her cool girl and was trying to act like she was ugly. And guess what? The ugly duckling done turned into the swan and you can't have none.
It's the
Which, by
moment
the
we all
way,
wish
she
would
was
have
still
happened.
gorgeous as Ghoul Girl. Like, let's
Exactly,
not
she
pretend.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she was
Trying
really,
to hide it.
yeah, she was like
Didn't
movie
pass.
star ugly, like Clark Kent ugly, you know.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
like
just-
the moment we all wish we would have had in high school, but it happened 10 years too late.
I just love it was oh my god, it was the cloak and the glasses and then like and she just stood there like, told you. But great that they had that moment and they kind of like filled in everything and were very nice with each other, even though, you know, they're in slight competition. It was like, I welcome it, but this isn't gonna basically ruin, you know, what they already have. And there was like a little sprinkle of like, call me anytime if you need to talk, because Chloe being the tea collector of Salem, she already picked up on, she was like, is there more of a you let me know when you're ready, because I can already tell there's some, and it went into the flashback, and she was just like, you let me know, you got my number, it ain't changed since high school, boo, you call me, and walk me over to the Salem Inn, and then like, we'll continue on our merry way. Let's quickly, okay, Xander and Sarah. The passion that they have for each other is very undeniable. Like, I wanted to be like, Sarah, number one, you can't keep having conversations with Xander when Philip is in the other room. That's number one. Number two, you can't go to the Salem Inn. Like, no more. Like you can't go over there. Like, whatever you got to say, you got to FaceTime, like at the square. You got to like send a text message. Like, you can't be in the vicinity of Xander. But what I thought was interesting was that I felt like Philip was testing her.
Yeah.
I don't think he has an interest in Sarah, but I think he was testing her. So when he went and kissed her, I was like, oh, now how you gonna handle this, Miss Thing? And she was like,
part of me still wonders if Philip even buys what's going on, or if he's just pretending that he buys it. You know?
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
They think they're playing him, but he's actually playing them.
Because
You know
he bit into it too quickly. He was just like, oh, okay, y'all broke up. Oh, okay, that's great. He's jealous.
I'm with
of
you,
me,
Tony.
isn't he?
Well, and then the other thing he, you know, when Charlie was brought into this, the other thing that Philip bought way too easily was that, like, he's like, oh, other Mr. Kyriakis caught me going through his. Oh wait, maybe that was Xander. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I got confused about because Charlie came to Philip and said,
that
like,
Xander,
oh, I defended you to Xander, and Philip was like, oh, did he buy it? And Charlie was like, yes. And Philip was like, good. And I was like, does he really believe that Xander would just buy that? Like, I don't know. It's just
the whole storyline is macadacious.
machinations. Okay, so sidebar. Shelley thinks that she remembers a time when Mimi and Philip were together at one point.
Well,
I'm gonna need the year, because that I'm really trying to remember. I'm just like, okay.
Well, Araceli, you're gonna have to Wikipedia it.
That whole foursome though, like Chloe, Mimi. Well, no, Mimi was kind of like the outsider.
Mimi was a part of it.
Mimi was a part of it.
Mimi and Rex, but I feel like they all like intertwined a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe Rex and Belle never had anything. Well, wait, they may be related. I don't know.
They thought they were originally, but no, they never.
Rex and Belle did, but there was one point where obviously Belle was with Philip.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Mimi with Sean?
Mimi was married to Sean.
Yeah.
Married, yeah.
They split up.
And that's where the kids
Claire
came from. Yeah.
Right.
That's where Claire and Tyler came from, because the switched embryos. Yeah.
No, Claire was before that.
No. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah, Claire was like a year old when that happened.
It is machinacious.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and then Mimi after that was with oh my God.
Rex.
No,
the
Rex had left town.
The one who was clearly gay.
With
Kevin.
No.
Was his name Kevin?
Frankie's little brother.
Oh,
Max?
Darren. No.
Max.
Yeah.
Max. She was with Max.
That's right.
She was with Max, and then then she left town.
But then Max and Philip, I think, had a rivalry, right?
Okay, we are starting to.
I know,
Over
we starting to,
Stephanie.
okay, so we starting to get
right.
into territory that number one, y'all ain't even quite sure about. Two, ain't nobody got time for that. Three, we talking about Xander, Sarah, Charlie, Philip, and Chloe. So we gonna keep to the stuff we know for right now, and then we gonna research because we gonna have time because this is the last show of 2020. We ain't back till 2021. We can research all this stuff and then come back full force and throttle with all the macadamia nuts that we need. So. What else was I going to say? Oh, so Xander and Sarah also figured out that Ava was alive because Xander read something
Angela,
that Ava was alive,
no,
and then they put
yeah.
and then Sarah put the pieces of the puzzles together. That like that's Angela Van Decamp, Van Housen, AV. So there's that, and then but wait, did we ever find out what files were on the drive that Sarah got?
It was
stuff that
something was missing though.
Yeah, incomplete records.
Yeah, it was incomplete basically. Yeah.
But it seemed to be enough to convince Xander that Philip was starting to cook the books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It wasn't enough to take to Victor. That's why it was
I need them to be like, I'm gonna need them to have all the hard, cold facts before they go to Victor, because if you missing one receipt, then like you about to lose your job. You don't want to do that. Okay, and that was it for that storyline, right? Yeah. Before we move on to tidbits, here's a tidbit for you. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Guess what? You're probably watching us live right now, and if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, how are you gonna know when we're back in January? So make sure you click the subscribe button, and also make sure you click the thumbs up button, because the more you like it, the more of it we can give of it. This announcement brought to you by the four folks right here at Dishin Days.
The poor folks?
The four folks.
Four folks.
Four folks. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in your purse or wallet. I don't know what y'all got. I mean, apparently you okay, Michael Matters. You keep giving us the lumberjack fashion, so you fine.
I'm fine.
All right, so let's go into tidbits with Nicole, Allie, Rafe, and Kate.
Love the Rafe and Kate scene. I always like their chemistry. Like I like them when they were together a while years ago. I like that they sort of get each other. How she came in and was like, "Hey, good seeing you. What's the deal?" kind of a thing.
I feel like they're also two people that can just be real with each other.
Yeah.
Like they know each other. There's no bullshitting with each other. And when they try to bullshit with each other, they're like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I like how there was resolution. Like they with Allie and the gun.
Yeah.
Like they had that resolution and it wasn't dropped. And we found out, the gun made it back to Kate.
Oh my God.
and I like that,
lock it up.
I like that afterwards Kate went to Allie and was like, no. Grandma Kate has a plan and my plans don't get effed up.
Right. But also, can we give props to Allie for really trying to act like she didn't know why Kate was asking her to come?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, she's
like, Grandma Kate, what's up?
Yeah.
And Kate's like, Lil Heifer, you know why you here. Yeah. I have no idea why you would call me here. No. And then Kate's like, just got back from the police station.
Yeah. I love that it's Grandma Kate and it's not like I disappointed you by, getting a bad grade or something. It was like, listen, I broke into your lockbox and stole your gun and tried to murder my rapist, but you get it.
I do like the continued relationship though between Allie and Nicole, and I like that she's very trusting of Nicole, and Nicole is really like a mentor to her, and that she was able to open up and they figured out Ava, and there were some very funny moments with Nicole. And I told y'all I like that they flashed back to when Nicole was going to all the rooms and they zeroed in on AV. Which she had a hilarious response to that. But yeah, I just like that how comfortable they are. So and then they kind of got that's kind of how the ball got rolling as far as like finding out that Ava was alive because Nicole called Abe. Abe told Rafe. Rafe then went over, and that kind of spinned everything. So, yeah.
I was kind of surprised when Kate mentioned the civils. I really thought I was like, oh God, are we going to get a Kate murder plot? I was like, are we really going to go down this?
No, they can't again. Yeah.
Well, I thought, okay, please don't, because as for me, I of course think,
and it was almost like
I was don't go there.
When Kate was talking about how she had a plan, I was almost disappointed that it was a civil suit. I was like,
thought it was murder.
I was like,
it was going to be murder.
Oh, it's not going to be that you're messing up Tripp's life. You're actually going to do it the legal way.
Yeah. Well, listen, she needs to do it the legal way. She got out of some. She just got out. She's fresh out of getting out of legalities. You can't be hopping back in more. And besides, D.A. Trask is like the next person who messes up in Salem. You're going to jail.
The next person who jaywalks is getting thrown at them.
It's like, you're going to come up with all the charges. So that was that tidbit. And then we had Bonnie and Jennifer, who I like that they're bonding. I like that they had such a fun time. I like that they tried to stick it to their men. I like the vulnerability of Bonnie. She was a little hurt that like she didn't hear from Justin when they had scheduled the date. And like just even the cute moment of like, her just being like, I'm trying, and like, I even have, you even have your own ringtone, and then he called it, and it played, and I felt for Bonnie when she was sitting there waiting for Justin, and he came late because obviously he got detoured to go handle that, and I'm thinking to myself, you could have texted or did something to let them know.
Gonna be late, work.
Or he could have texted the month in between Christmas and when he made the date to say like, hey, I'm going out of town. Let's meet up when I get back into town. Can't wait to hang out.
And I'm in Arizona hanging with the fams. I just need a break away. Like, it's totally fine. But I like that Bonnie reminds him, you ain't the only cowboy in Salem, honey.
Shout out to Bonnie's date. Yeah.
Okay. But
how do we feel about that though? Now Bonnie, that another few weeks have gone by, because I know we all had our opinions on Justin and Bonnie before. How do we feel about it now?
Here's and I was just about to say, the issue that I have is trying to rectify a mistake. So killing off Adrian left Justin like by himself. And I was all for Justin and Kayla, but the fans who can't just let people try other stuff were not for it, and they kicked his feet about it.
I wasn't for it either. I was all for it.
However, to then bring back Bonnie kind of as a substitute for Adrian. It's like we know that Bonnie has the qualities of Adrian, but in the wackiest of doodles of form. So it's now like we look at them and we go, oh, they will be cute together. Like, it'll be fine. But like, will it? Can't they just be friends? Like, do they have to?
There's no story there though. Like them just being friends. I don't know. We say that, and then I think there's no story there. But
this is the weirdest comparison. Well, probably it's the most accurate comparison to make. But I feel about this maybe the way I felt about Roman and Hattie.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, because it's like she looks like your wife, but she's not your wife. But you have such good chemistry.
But you still like her, yeah.
Yeah.
But with Roman, we could tell that he really appreciated Hattie, but it wasn't in a romantic sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she was all for Mr. Roman Brady. But I think we're seeing this transition with Justin that now he's open to Bonnie. So it's different. You know what I mean? It's how you play it, you know? Like if it was still kept as like, I have no romantic feelings for you, but you know, you're cool, you know, then that's fine. But it's starting to lean towards that romanticness also, in order to get that chemistry back of Justin and Adrian.
I don't mind them together. I think you just made a really good point, and especially with the the thing with Hattie and Roman is that Hattie always wanted Roman. And also remember, like, Bonnie never wanted Justin. Even when she was pretending to be Adrian, she always wanted Lucas or someone else. She never wanted Justin. So I think even this is a little different because it's not someone who she looked like Adrian and she was been after Justin for 10 years. Like, he was of no interest to her really outside of money. So I think this is a little different. I think it's surprising to her that she's found herself sort of interested in Justin. And I think he's allowing himself to like get interested in her. So I don't mind them. I hope that they can keep Bonnie who Bonnie is and not turn her into Adrian. I think an interesting couple is Bonnie and Justin, and Bonnie as she is with someone like Justin and that sort of dynamic. And also, like, you know, like, not for nothing, but Justin is a much more like, not neutered character, but he's a much more calmed down character than he was in the 80s, because him and Adrian have like, they're a nice couple now, but they were sort of like, you know, kind of dysfunctional back then. So it's not like, you know, not like Justin was always a good guy all the time. So I like this sort of dynamic, I think, can kind of work.
Then we'll tell.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was your week of days. We will now go into our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we will start with mine, which is Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award. All right, so listen, I had such a giggle when it came to Nicole for 2 reasons. One, I love the fact that she had a moment where she tried to act like it's such a surprise that anyone would come back from the dead. Wait, is that clip? Which clip is that, Michael Mattis? Okay, that's it. Okay, so roll.
There's no way it could be Ava. What are you talking about, Nicole? This is Salem.
I love that quick turnaround. Yeah.
So one, I was like, yes, Nicole. But then this was more of a giggle than a snap. But take a look at this clip.
It wasn't the audio-visual room after all. What are you talking about?
Exactly. What are you talking about? Like, so you are in a bunker and you decide that AV, like you see SD, you see all these things, and AV, you're like, oh, this is the audio-visual room, girl. So like, just
it's
for
college, it's a warehouse.
But
no, just
for the sheer fact of just giving me so much joy, Nicole, Ari Zucker, you get Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award. All right.
Not for nothing, but I don't even think audio-visual rooms are called audio-visual rooms anymore. I think they've been made to like multimedia and stuff like that. I don't think that even exists anymore.
Well, in Nicole's mind, it does, I guess.
Not too far off. It's the Demiras. They probably have cameras in every room, and
she's also a woman of a certain age, so like, you know, we can relate. We bought it. We were like AV room. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to. Caption that.
All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Julie bringing the much debated pills to Jennifer while she was nursing her hangover. And this week's caption goes to Renee Stepp on Instagram with her caption, "There isn't enough sage in the world to cleanse this town."
It sure isn't. You have to burn it and then start all over again.
Burn it down.
And that was that. You know, Michael Mattis, also just to let you know, we can see your whole screen, honey. We see all your icons. We see
everything.
Like whatever you're seeing, we're seeing.
Interesting.
Isn't it? All right, and now it's time for
That's better. There we go.
Those Were the Days.
And this week's segment is brought to you in part by when Nicole found out about Ava, the first phone call she made was to Abe. And they got sort of the wheels turning about the Abe and Nicole history. We all know, of course, they're related, or not related, but they're, yes, related through Brandon, Abe's son, Nicole's brother. And I think the last few years have been more of a conscious effort to bring those two together and have Abe be sort of like a surrogate father to her / conscience. And we've got two big storylines that did that. We had when Nicole came back from the dead, and it was really Kristen, but Abe thought it was Nicole, and he went to work for Demira to sort of keep track of Nicole, and he thought she was in trouble or would sort of need backup, and that was one storyline. The other was when Nicole was confided in Abe about the baby switch. He was sort of like her confidant and the person she went to with that information about how to make the next move and how to go about that. And I want to say, I always bring this up with ones in the past, and especially with thoughts on the show, is that 90% of this town is related. So whenever we get these sort of great relationships between people who aren't biologically related, and the storyline lets that continue, and they come back to each other over and over again. We've talked about, like last week, weeks ago, was Maggie and Lucas, and now Abe and Nicole. And I also appreciate that just because Lonnie is on the scene as Abe's biological daughter, they haven't erased this relationship he has with Nicole. And so I like that, because usually, they bring in sort of the actual daughter and all things sort of fade to the side. So I just appreciate that.
Oh, wait, so that means Lonnie and Nicole are half sisters?
No.
Lonnie and Brandon are half siblings, but no relation to Nicole.
Right.
Got it.
They just share a brother.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
I know, right? Yeah.
Miss history. Okay.
But it's funny they don't have them two together either. It's sort of, interesting.
Yeah. Well, those were the days. I'll perfect that. And now it's time for It's a Gift.
Lo and behold,
I don't know where it is. Hang on.
Gwen going to town with that bat. And, you see these things on the news. The parents, losing it at their kids' baseball game or their kid, little league or something like that. And they just lose it. And you wonder how this happens. And then you take a character like Gwen, where it's like everything you thought that was going to go your way does not go your way. I'm like, yeah, okay, I could see how she could lose her cool. But also, why are you keeping this woman as your nanny? Clearly that is not someone you want around your child. But also, this if those poinsettias were 2020, that makes sense to me.
I love the fact that the poinsettias were obviously placed there for this moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's doing her best to just not mess it up, because in case they need to do another take.
We need those for later.
I really hope those were fake, because if they're not, I feel so sorry for those plants.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if they're real, somebody they probably took them home. Somebody likes a poinsettia.
Right.
Well, that has been It's a Gift. And shout out to MeWorld2 for his shiz moment of the week. I am going to retweet that right now. But while I do that, let's go to some news and gossip.
Just one little note that you can still tune in. Let me get my shared screen up. Where is it? Oh my gosh. You can still tune in to James Lott Jr.'s show Mistletoe Road, which follows 3 Los Angeles friends who wake up in Christmas City, where it's Christmas every day. Find out what happens on the new audio drama created by James Lott Jr., Mistletoe Road, on all streaming services under the name JLJ Media.
And that has been your news and gossip brought to you by the fine folks here at AfterBuzz TV. Now, everybody.
No, we're not.
Huh?
We're not of AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, did I say AfterBuzz TV?
Yeah.
Sure shit did. Old habits die hard.
We have no affiliation with AfterBuzz TV. Just Dishin Days. All right, so now, everyone, we will give you a sneak peek as to what's to come next week on Days of Our Lives. And if you want to check out the full extended promo that we are not allowed to show because it's exclusive for the Days app, make sure you go to the Days app and check it out there. But in the meantime, we are going to tune in to this lovely sneak peek. Michael Mattis, show us all your background and roll that footage.
Roll that beautiful background footage. Hang on, I accidentally closed it. Hold, please.
Oh.
Too many videos this week.
So much going on. So much going on. So much clickety clack, and we can't come back.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, it's going to take a while.
There it is.
Oh, there we go.
'Twas the week before Christmas, and eyes were aglow from family arriving and a few they don't know.
Good to meet you, bro.
Bro, yes. And married men caught under mistletoe.
That was silly.
I totally love that that the Damaras are gonna come back together. I hope it is way different than what it was last time when Stephen O was about to marry Marlena.
Oh God.
Love to see that Teo Pinglis is back as Tony. He is so great and so funny.
Yeah. Leanne Hunley's back.
Leanne, is Anna.
And I wonder what wackiness is going to happen with her. So it looks.
Can we
imagine
imagine
like
Anna and Bonnie together?
Oh God.
Oh, that would be really good. So you guys, again, if you want to see the full extended promo, make sure you go to the Days app where the extended promo is exclusive. I mean, I know you can find it online, but it's exclusive on the app. So make sure you check that out. Now, everyone, as you guys know, this is our last show of 2020. And of course, we started this tradition of mimicking the Horton family tree ornament event, but doing our own Dishin Days spin on it. So at this time, we will hang the previous Dishin Days hosts and engineers on our lovely Dishin Days Christmas tree, all while enjoying some free royalty Christmas music. Michael Mattis.
Yeah. Can you hear it?
A little bit.
A little.
Oh my gosh, you know what I just realized?
Did you forget the ornaments?
Don't have the hooks.
Oh, doesn't it sound beautiful?
There we go.
There you go. I was thinking when we do this next year, we'll have to do it like the show does, where we insert clips of everyone as their ornament gets hung.
Zooms in and the zooms out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys.
Like
I'll have a different hat.
Hopefully we'll be in studio. We can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully. Maybe Pfizer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moderna.
Right.
The Hortons have ornaments. I
Okay,
have hats.
I saw a meme while we're waiting. I saw a meme that cracked me up, and I don't know if you both are gonna get this, but it was, this is the best thing Moderna has done since Confessions on the Dance Floor.
Y'all, I forgot the hooks. I was like, what a beautiful moment. Okay, and we're back. So here's mine.
Tony.
Yay. So you're the Maggie Horton now?
The what?
The Maggie Horton.
Oh wait, I should put it this way.
Yeah. Facing the camera.
You gotta,
I start with mine because there would be no Dishin Days had I not thought of it.
All right, Alice.
Mark J. Freeman.
Oh.
Lorraine Love.
I love that.
It's so weird to do this because it like takes me back to like the very beginning of everyone who was like with us when we started.
Yeah. I was saying why you were gone, Tony. If hopefully we're in studio next year and we can do it like Days does, where you hang the ornaments and it flashes to the flashback of the character. Yeah.
Oh, you are real fancy.
I, the host.
Peter Ramos, one of our original hosts. And then we also have, when we were with AfterBuzz, our engineers, and Alexis.
Oh, yeah.
Was our original engineer there. Look at James Lott Jr. all up in the chat room.
Oh.
And now comes all of our previous hosts.
All of them.
All of them.
You can take a minute.
Right? James Lott Jr.
Hey. Love this music.
I feel like I'm in Horton Town Square.
I know, right?
I feel like this is the music they actually use. No one days to save a buck there.
I know.
Pull it off of YouTube.
Matthew Evan Payne.
Oh. You're gonna tip over now, Tony, is it?
Say what?
I'm gonna tip over.
It won't.
We were saying earlier, we might need a bigger tree.
Well, I know, right?
Soon, right?
Well, in the meantime, you guys have a whole year to figure out what my hat next year will be.
Right. This is for Steve, one of our other engineers.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, I'm smelling burnt popcorn.
Oh. You're supposed to be smelling burnt popcorn?
I don't know. I never understood the tradition.
Michael Mattis.
Michael.
Hey. Someone could explain the stringing of popcorn on a tree to me. It always seemed like such a waste.
Of popcorn?
Yeah, or like something like a squirrel is hiding in your tree would enjoy.
Tammy Govea.
Oh,
Tammy.
Tamala.
We have Ryan, our other engineer. You know, the first year that we did this, people were like, "Oh, you should sell Dishin Days Christmas ornaments," but we never like looked into it. We're still good, y'all. We're still good. Chelsea Overrocker.
Hey, Chelsea.
Say, Hallmark Queen.
Right.
My favorite memory of Ryan that just popped into my head was we were talking about something and he was sick and he was like, oh yeah, and I had to go to the doctor, but luckily I'm still on my parents' health insurance because I'm not 26 yet. And I was just like, get out of here. Get out of here, child. Get out.
And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, to make everything official, please help me welcome our brand new co-host. Officially, we have Araceli.
Cute.
And,
oh my God, I'm crying a little bit.
Oh.
Oh, man.
and also help me welcome. Oh, that's it. Thank you
Oh,
so
you
much.
tried it.
Also help me welcome
Oh,
officially
wow.
our newest co-host of Dishin Days, Justin. Oh, it's real bright. Ooh, Justin,
And
yours
omen.
fell off.
I know.
I don't know if that's a.
Omen.
Oh, man.
I
Don't
don't know
do me
what
like
that.
that, Tony.
What that mean?
Yeah. Put me on a strong branch. Okay.
Here we go. All right.
Your $12 words were just too heavy for the tree, Justin.
And ladies and gentlemen, there is our Dishin Days
Oh.
tree. I'll take a picture of it
Yeah.
and post it.
Oh, yay.
Cute.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is the final show of 2021. I just want to thank everyone
2020.
for... Oh, 2020. We'll see you in
You're
2021.
so eager to get to the next year.
Trust me, I know. I do want to thank you guys so much, all the fans who have stuck with us. I know that with the pandemic, with quarantining, with everything that has happened, with our transition from AfterBuzz to starting things on our own, you guys have still been with us and still stuck by us, and I truly appreciate that. I also appreciate Araceli and Justin for coming on, and while we transitioned host, you guys came in and filled those positions with all of your knowledge and talent, and I greatly appreciate that. And of course, to Michael Mattis for being with the show for as long as you have.
Yes.
I may not say it enough, but I truly, truly appreciate you and appreciate what you do for the show. And I appreciate you just being there and kind of being like my rock when I felt like I was gonna give up on stuff. I had enough, I am done. So thank you guys. And thank you so much to everyone who's on this street who started this show with me in 2015. This show was just an idea to come and talk about our favorite show, and it has grown into what it is now. And a very, very special thank you to all the fans who retweet our stuff, who talk with us, who come into the chat every Sunday. We have grown to know you all. We have grown to look forward to you all in the in our chat room, and I truly appreciate just you being with us and sticking with us, whether you just joined us or whether you've been with us since 2015. I really appreciate you. Also, it's so loud.
Sorry.
I also want to thank all of the Days of Our Lives actors who have come on to talk about their storyline, to check in with us during quarantine, who continue to support our show. Truly appreciate it. And also shout out to some of the crew members who tune into our show as well. Truly appreciate you guys just taking on a liking to our show and really appreciate it. So happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. I hope that you guys stay well, stay blessed, stay healthy and happy, and we look forward to coming back in 2021 to bring you another full dish of your favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And I want to also thank the newest fan to Days of Our Lives and Dishin Days, my mother, who so graciously texts me and calls me every week to ask me if I've seen the show because, and I quote, "It was good." So thank you guys. And for one final time in 2020, Michael Mattis.
Yeah.
Where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Instagram, ML Mattis, and Instagram and Twitter at ML Mattis.
Araceli, where can they find you?
Everyone, you can find me on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And hopefully in 2021, she'll have Instagram.
We'll see.
Don't
Justin,
count.
where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld. And I want to thank you, Tony, for being our fearless leader and sort of keeping the train going. And thank you, Michael, for being so welcoming to me and Araceli. And this has just been a great experience so far. And we're looking forward to, doing things, doing some interesting things in 2021.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're going to have, hopefully, a much better year where we can actually go outside.
Yes.
and
be in the same place, be together.
More of us will actually be able to meet in person.
We can do brunch.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm all for brunch. And if you guys want to stick with us, hopefully we will maybe we'll go live, maybe we'll do stuff, I don't know. But make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The act is about to go into a Christmas break. And you can find Little Old Chocolate Me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. Thank you guys so much once again. We truly appreciate all of you. And until next year, stay safe and keep watching your favorite #1 hit award-winning soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Bye, you guys. We'll see you in 2021.
Happy New Year. Stay safe,
All days.
everyone.
Bye.